I've heard some people say abortion is not an issue for Latter-day Saints, but my guest is here today to blow that myth to smithereens. Suzanne Mann has stood on the sidewalk literally between life and death and has helped women make a different choice besides abortion in the moment and helping them choose life. I'm so pleased to welcome my good friend and co-conspirator, Suzanne Mann, today to SPAC Chats. I'm the SPAC and this is where we chat. All right, Suzanne, for our cutie drink today, you requested the rare exotic beverage of H2O.
Yeah, that's what I like. Cheers.
Explain. Cheers. Oh, I should be doing that with everybody.
Do you know why they do cheers?
No, tell me.
It's because in the old days, if you were going to poison someone and your drink didn't have the poison, of course, unless you're in Princess Bride. But anyway, if you have poison and you do cheers, the liquid splashes in each other's drink, so you wouldn't be poisoning them because then you would be poisoned.
Interesting. Well, I didn't poison this. I don't think it splashed into your dish, into your glass.
I think we're good.
Okay.
I'm not worried.
I promise I didn't poison it, unless you think tap water is poison. Some people might claim that. But that's a different story.
It's a different topic, Jessica.
It is. Okay, Suzanne, you have served as a mobile clinic director for Pro-Life Utah. Can you tell me what a mobile clinic is and what a mobile clinic director does?
Sure. So a few years ago, Pro-Life Utah acquired, with a lot of donations, a mobile clinic. And they asked me to take care of it, run it, manage it, all of the things. And so along with that, I learned how to be on the sidewalk and talk to women who are considering abortion. So there's training. There was a lot of training. And
follow up on the sidewalk parked outside the abortion
so we
clinic.
Would take it anywhere we wanted because it was an actual medical clinic and we could drive it anywhere and park anywhere we want as long as it's legally parked. And we would talk to anybody on the sidewalk. And you said I was sitting on the sidewalk. I wasn't sitting ever. It was very exhausting. And we would be out there in rain, snow, heat. The highest was 104 degrees and the lowest was about 28. Mm-hmm. It was brutal.
What did you do in an average day? Parked there. What did an average day look like when you were standing outside Planned Parenthood with the mobile clinic parked a few steps away?
So to open the clinic, we had to have about 3 of us. We had to have about 3 of us. So we had an ultrasound tech who is trained to do ultrasounds, a sonographer. We had a driver who would drive the clinic and another sidewalk person. So we wore cameras and reflective vests. We had name tags. We gave the people we talked to gift bags. So it was very organized and very thought out. We would park, put up signs on the street to kind of give us a buffer to let people know we were there. It's not like you could miss it. It's this really bright pink van.
Yes,
it's a Sprinter van. It's huge and bright pink. You can't really miss it. And then we would stand on the sidewalk and write. Well, legally, you can't stand on the sidewalk. You have to stand in the buffer. And we would stand on the rocks by the plants and try and talk to people as they went by. And we would be there for hours.
Let's see, who were the people that you were talking to and how did those conversations usually go?
So we would talk to anyone that came by, but our focus was women who were choosing abortion. So they were in crisis pregnancies. Now you can't tell who that might be. And so we would just talk to everyone, and we would be super happy and pleasant and open. We'd give them a little gift in a bag with information. So if they didn't talk to us, they would have that information with phone numbers and things online to check out, because we get one shot. We get 2 seconds. Yeah.
Yeah, and I know for me, I would probably be more comfortable looking something up later than stopping to talk with a stranger on the sidewalk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's kind of a hotline number, basically, that they could call. And so if they didn't feel comfortable that day, then they could refer to that information.
And then if they did accept the help you offered, what were you able to offer them?
So we would talk to them and see kind of where they are. We could say things. We had to be very careful on what we said. You don't say trigger words and offensive things, you know. We were very loving, very kind. We would say things like, do you know how far along you are? Is your family supportive? Do you have what you need? You know, things where it would touch them. And if we're happy, then they would feel open to having help, and they would respond to us. Yeah, it was very interesting. If anybody was having a bad day and they were on the sidewalk, you never would have any conversations. You had to be really up and happy and welcoming to what we were providing, which is kind of the opposite of what you think, because these women are in really bad places and you want to be sad with them. Like, I'm so sorry you're having such a hard time, and be sad, but it wouldn't be receptive. They wouldn't respond.
So you're saying that most of the women who were going in were not super happy about their abortion appointments. What kind of emotional state were they usually in? What kind of, I don't know, I guess, did they tell you about some of their problems, and what did that usually look like?
They wouldn't. We would just tell them we were offering free ultrasounds. And I would say things like, we have the best ultrasound tech here today, and it's free. Anything we do is free. We have pregnancy tests if you want that. And they usually would just brush us off. It's when there's the sidewalk advocacy training, it's a nationwide training. They teach you what these women, what they're going through, what's in their brain, what's in their mind, their heart. And they only want help for them. They're not thinking about the baby. They're not worried about the baby. So I'm not sure I answered your question, but if we could get them to trust us in that 2-second conversation, then they might come in and have an ultrasound.
What did it look like if they did come in?
They could bring their friends or family with them. If they were there with their mom or sister, they could come in too.
And you usually just walk right in?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we were just waiting for them to come in. We would welcome them. They have this beautiful seating, and so we'd sit them down and get some information from them, just so we could know their name and maybe the town they live in, so we'd know what help is available where they are.
Oh, gotcha. Because
I had someone from Virginia, you know, and we were in Utah, so that's a little different than if they live in West Valley. Then we would tell them the procedure for the ultrasound and get some information from them, like how far along they think they are. And if their boyfriend or husband aren't there, then we can ask them more personal questions. Do you feel safe? Are you able to talk about this with us? Like, are you going to be okay? Because if they're not there, then they might open up, because there's a lot of women that need a safe place. And they can't talk about it in front of them. So that happens. Then they have their ultrasound, and in the clinic, it's very, very sweet. There's a TV that everyone can see. And so everyone watches, and
The ultrasound on the TV.
ultrasound. And if they're 5 or 6 weeks along, it's very hard to see the actual baby, but you can get a heartbeat, and the ultrasound tech would turn it up full blast. It would fill the room, the van would be full of the little sound of the baby's heartbeat. And that alone is super impactful for them. But if they see the baby, if they're a little bit bigger, then they usually burst into tears, because it's a realization that this is my baby. And so they go from self-centeredness from it's all about me to now, oh, I have a baby and I'm the protector. I'm the one that has to care for this baby. And it's almost like a light switch, like you hear about that, like the light went off. It really is that way. The women, they would just wake up out of this trance of being in such a bad, sad place. And then now they're really in a bad place, honestly, because they can't hurt their baby. It's their baby, but then they're also in a really sad situation of some sort, whatever that looks like.
Right. And if they decided, though, that they, however difficult it was going to be, they weren't going to hurt their baby, what support were you guys able to offer her moving forward?
So then we would tell them, and on the sidewalk, we would tell them that we have all kinds of support and help, but they would be told, the girls that I was there with, we would tell them that we have monetary help, physical help, like diapers, clothes, stroller, car seat, pack and play, and we will be there for you every step of the way. So basically they got new friends, and we would hold their hand until they had their baby. And even after, I still get phone calls.
I was going to say, can you tell us about if you're still friends with these people?
Yeah, they reach out and thank me and say, not like if it wasn't for you, I mean, sometimes they do, but it's more of a thank you because this child is such a blessing in my life.
Yeah. In
our lives, whoever, if they're married or if they have their mom or someone that I've met by then. And they're just so grateful. So they instantly go from this scary, life is terrible, I can't do this, I can't have a baby, to a mother bear. Like, I will do whatever it takes.
Wow.
And then they are instantly great parents. They love their babies. And it's like it never happened. Like the ones that I know personally, it's like it never happened. They don't even want to talk about it, honestly, because it's so hurtful that they even considered it.
Yeah. Out of these girls, this was in Salt Lake. So
yeah,
how many of these girls do you think might have been members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints?
Well, just
your guess,
the
and then how many, I guess,
people,
that you know?
We don't know. But the ones that I served, I know. And it's half of them, because I asked them later. You can't ask them in the moment.
Yeah,
I'm not going to say, oh, were you raised in the Latter-day Saint home? You can't do that. But later, when we have a strong relationship, and after the baby's born even, I'll say, were you raised in the church? Were you raised in a Latter-day Saint home? And half of mine were. Which
is pretty representative of Utah's population, which is about 50% Latter-day Saint at this time.
Yeah. And I did it, I was a sidewalk advocate and ran the clinic for a year. And that was my experience. And I have kept in touch with those that are now still there. And they get a lot of members of the church, unfortunately.
Can you tell us a story of a time when there was a Latter-day Saint woman that you helped who was about to choose abortion, who was either going into her appointment or about to set her appointment or something?
Yeah.
Can you tell us about a moment that happened?
So there was a gal that we got to come in, and she had her ultrasound. And like I said, she had this shock, the tears and the traumatic. Now, what do I do? They're always just almost traumatized because the reality of this is a human being and it's my baby. And so she was sitting across from me, and I was trying to give her words of encouragement and love. And I said, look, we'll meet with you tomorrow and we'll have lunch and we'll talk about it. All the things that we can help you with and what is your concern. And I looked down, and she was wearing a CTR ring, which shocked me more than I've probably ever been shocked in my life. And I couldn't say anything, but I knew that she now knew that this was life and that she was the protector. And she and her boyfriend, they got married, and their families are just in love with that baby, and they are so supportive. So I was pretty shocked.
Can you speak to either this girl specifically or generally? What do you think led her there that day? Or generally, why did Latter-day Saint girls end up there? Why don't they know better? So, as to put it roughly.
Well, there's a couple of things. The Latter-day Saint girls aren't being taught. It's not being discussed. And the sanctity of life and the doctrine of the church is not being exposed. Basically, there's no one doing that. And the other thing, there was a shame involved. And she and he, they didn't ever say it specifically, but there was shame and they wanted to hide it. And this was a way they could not be embarrassed and not have shame. And I just met someone the other day, and she said to me, why don't we kill the shame instead of the baby? And I agree. I mean, things happen, and there's no reason to do what they were contemplating, or anyone else, honestly. So
how do you think we could help people in these situations, young women and young men in these situations, to not feel that shame, to overcome, I guess, the shame or fear that might come into our culture when it comes to letting people know that, well, surprise, you're pregnant?
I think it goes back to Elder Anderson's talk last April in 2025, where he talked about this, and he said that we need to put our arms around them and love them. And I think if people see an acceptance and a culture of forgiveness, and where you can go ahead with your life and no one's going to be judging you and saying, mean things and gossiping and all those kinds of things behind your back, I think we could make a big difference in our culture. Yeah, there's still repentance, and it's a sin, but like he said, we need to love and throw our arms around these people. Anybody really that has any kind of sin. Yeah. And that was the other thing. When we were on the sidewalk, there's no judgment. And in the clinic, no judgment. At the lunch the next day, no judgment at all. And they would be so embarrassed and so wanting to just bury everything. And we'd say, you know what? We're not judging you. And we're here for you. And they believed us.
What can that look like starting before, I guess, you're in that situation? What can that look like in a young women class, for example?
I think it should just be comfortable. It should just be part of our language. We just talk about unborn babies. You know, we talk about the premortal existence. We talk about being spirit children of Heavenly Father. And then we just jump ahead 9 months and then we say, oh, babies are so wonderful, and families and motherhood and fatherhood and, you know, the plan of salvation. And we have all these lessons and all these, this attitude of how wonderful. But why do we skip over that 9 months? I think we need to talk about that 9 months. We need to start with little tiny children. I talk about it with my grandkids. I say, look how tiny you were. I show them my little tiny baby feet and say, look at, you were this tiny when you were in your mommy's tummy. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing like taboo that we shouldn't talk about.
It's not inappropriate.
It's not inappropriate. And then we can talk about, what were you doing inside your mommy's tummy? Like, what were you learning? What were you listening to? You know, what was, because everything is developed and there when they're like 9 weeks old. So they have 9 months of just getting bigger, and we can talk about it. And we can talk about how beautiful it is and how wonderful it is to be a mother, to be a father, to have these little babies and we just need to change the culture so that these young women grow up. And when you say, what do you want to be when you grow up? They say, I want to be a mom. Because society says different. We're taught to say, oh, I want to be a doctor. I want to be a teacher. I want to be, you know, a psychiatrist or something. And the very first thing we should say is, I want to be a mother. I want to have a family. I want to find my Prince Charming and get married.
Yeah. What would you say to the young woman who does feel that way, but feels like she can't talk or really live like that? She feels like, I really just want to be a mom. I want to be ready for that. What would you say to her?
If they do say that?
Well, if she wants to say that, that's what she wants
to do.
When
she used to say.
Wants to grow up. All right, then give away your secrets. How did you prepare for that? How did you?
I was very bold. I just said, that's what I want. That's what I was made for. That's what I'm here for. Everything else is just extra because you don't take any of that with you. When you die, you take your family with you. And so, our education is important and we have a reason to have careers. I don't think that's bad. My mother had to work when I was young. My dad had health problems. I was so grateful she could. But, you know, from all of the prophet's words, we're supposed to get married, have a family. That's the plan of salvation.
Yeah. This is mostly for young women, but what would you also say to the young men out there?
Oh, those boys. Well, the 3 Ps. So, in the Proclamation on the Family from over 30 years ago, it says that the job of the men is to provide, preside, and protect. And so that's what I would teach. That's what I teach. I say, that's your job. You are supposed to have a career. You are the provider. And you are supposed to protect. You're the guy to protect your family. Now, if someone came in and broke into my home and my husband wasn't there, I would definitely step up and try and do that. But that's not my job. The women's jobs, the job of the woman is to be a nurturer. And we're just wired that way.
Let's flash forward a little bit to the young adult woman or man. How can they prepare themselves to be ready to have a baby and to maybe avoid the situations in which might make abortion appealing? What advice would you give to them?
I don't know. I say it out every Sunday. You're going to get married. You're going to have a family. And that's your most important job.
What would you say if you could speak to the girl who feels like an unplanned pregnancy would ruin her life, what would you say to her? If maybe she's listening right now.
I would tell her that she has been lied to, that it's not the end of the world. It's not what society tells you, and that you can do hard things. You can do something remarkable and special. And there's this baby that if she is pregnant, it's a one of a kind. It's the only one in the whole universe like it. The DNA is set, and there's only one. Fingerprints are already developed at like 10-ish weeks. Unique. And embrace that. And motherhood, yeah, it's hard. And we were made to do hard things. You're stronger than you think.
Beautiful. If there was one gift that you wish young women would give their future selves, what would it be?
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would say they need to love themselves for who they are, and that they can be accepting of any of their flaws and accept all their great attributes and talents, because some people don't even want to accept that. It's like prideful, but you use them for good, and it's okay, and that you can make a difference in the world, and that the Lord is counting on you to actually do something in this world with your gifts and talents.
Something I definitely wish someone had told me younger too. I think that's a good answer. Okay, my last question is an advice question. Okay. This anonymous person on the interwebs says, I'm 23F female, 23-year-old female, and I lost my virginity yesterday to my boyfriend, who is an RM and a temple recommend holder. We've been together for 2 months. I'm so sad for not following the Spirit when he was restraining me. Praying feels so far from me, and I feel like Heavenly Father hates me. Now I feel empty and full of self-hate. I think my parents will kill me or ask me to break up with him. What advice do you have for her?
She needs to go talk to her bishop and her parents.
Yeah.
But probably bishop first, because parents, that's scarier, I think. I have seen miracles happen through a bishop. I think there's something really special in that calling. And usually they are trying really hard to be the Lord's instrument. And they can repent. They can make it better. Like, you don't want to stay in that sad place, but there's a reason that you are sad, and that's good. Because the Spirit is telling you that it's wrong and you need to fix it. But you don't stay there. You can get better. You can improve. And the bishop is the one to help you do that spiritually and in the church. And then your family. The girls that I helped, it was very surprising when they say, my mom's going to kill me. There's a lot of drama on the sidewalk. My mom's going to kill me. They're going to kick me out. My boyfriend's going to leave me, and all these things they're so worried about. And they're pleasantly surprised at how they are loved and accepted, Yeah. And they can turn it around. Now, this girl you're talking about isn't pregnant, but she has some work to do.
Yeah.
And it's very possible. And it happens all the time. Yeah. And you can fix it, and you can get better, and now she'll be stronger. Mm-hmm. And she said, I wish I'd listened to the Spirit Next time she will.
Yeah.
And she'll say, I know what this is, and I am going to stay way away from the edge of the cliff.
Yeah.
So,
I think that's very hopeful.
yeah.
I think you have some important insights. Thank you so much, Suzanne. Real pleasure to
Welcome.
hear from you.
You're welcome.
And on behalf of all the women who helped and reached out to, thank you for your service to the women of the church, the women of Utah, and
It was
women
a
of the world.
special time.
Thank you.
You're
You're
welcome.
amazing.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah. Hey.
I don't feel amazing, but whatever.
You are amazing. Remember like 1 minute ago, you were just talking about like,
you should accept
love yourself
and love
accept
yourself.
your,
Yeah. And it wasn't just me. There was a group, right? Okay, one time.
Of course.
I had to have 3 people to open the clinic, and somebody was sick, and they called the night before and said, I can't go tomorrow. And I'm like, oh, we need to go tomorrow because we're all scheduled, right? And we need to be there as much as we can. And so I asked my husband, would you please be able to go? And he's like, okay. So we drive to get the clinic, and it's in a secure, locked up facility and in a garage. And we get there, and the code doesn't work. I can't open the gate.
I feel like I've heard this story. I don't remember how it goes, so continue.
I couldn't get it to work. And I was like, I don't know what to do. And it's like 7 a.m, super early. And so I'm sitting there, and I tried again, and it just would not open. The gate wouldn't open. And and I'm usually not like this, but I just took my fist and I banged him on the steering wheel, and I said, not today, Satan. And I was like, okay, where's the phone number? And I found the phone number, called the people, and they had a glitch in their computer, and they fixed it. And we get there, we get the clinic, we get downtown Salt Lake, and we had a little baby saved that day that would not have happened. And I think that just shows how much Heavenly Father really loves this work of protecting babies and loving the women and being there for them.
Mm-hmm.
And that little baby is almost 3. And I tell you, to hold a little baby that would not be here is the coolest thing I've ever done. To hold them and just look into their eyes that would have been snuffed out. And I don't take it lightly or pridefully at all, because the Lord is in that work, and it is super special and sacred to help the women choose life and to be there for them as they needed help throughout their pregnancy and after.
Suzanne is a true inspiration and a true personal friend. I hope you've enjoyed listening to her stories and her insights. I would be remiss if I didn't mention today that I want to make a little note for anyone listening who might have had an abortion or know someone who has, because this is something that is going to touch you one way or another. 1 in 4 American women will have an abortion, I think by the time they are 25. I think that's the statistic. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. But I know it is 1 in 4. And so if it's not you, it's probably somebody you know. Please know that there is hope and healing at the end of the tunnel. Please seek that healing and repentance and hope that you need by speaking with a bishop, through prayer, getting professional counseling as needed. You don't need to go through this alone, and you don't need to sit in the dark. I hope you do not feel discouraged by anything said here, and only encouraged by hope for a brighter future. And secondly, those who loved hearing about Suzanne's amazing stories and service that she has offered, I wanted to make 2 recommendations for you to look into. Number 1, look into 40 Days for Life. It's a great way to get your feet wet in pro-life service. All you do is show up during the 40-day prayer vigils around the world, actually. They have locations around a bunch of countries and all over the United States. And you just go out there and you pray with the group for hour slots at a time. You just sign up to go pray outside an abortion clinic and just pray for the people going in, pray for an end to abortion, and pray for life. that's all you do. It's super easy. You just show up. It's a great way to get started. And you may not feel like you're making a big difference, even if you don't talk to especially if you don't talk to anybody. But as we have heard from everyone's favorite pro-life advocate, Abby Johnson, her insider information is that Planned Parenthood says that the no-show rates of appointments at Planned Parenthood can go as high as 75% if there's just somebody praying outside. So you never know what impact you're making. And even if there's no impact on anybody else, it's going to be an amazing experience, I know, because it's happened to me. Secondly, if you want to do something more like Suzanne has done, more counseling, more reaching out specifically to talk to and offer help and options to women seeking abortion, check out Sidewalk Advocates for Life. They have training for you, and hopefully you can get connected with someone near you. Now, do keep in mind, there may be capacities at which you might not be able to serve because, sadly, Latter-day Saints are not included in the faith statements for certain roles in these and other pro-life organizations. We still love and support them, and we like to link arms with them. We're honored to link arms with them and pray and serve alongside them. If that's something you feel called to do, reach out to them. And I do want to just make a little statement that I've heard Suzanne say this, and I have felt this in hearing these stories and supporting behind the scenes for people on the sidewalk, is that the experience of doing sidewalk counseling, of praying and helping women who are seeking abortion, is one of the things that can be closest to missionary service that you can find in regular life. So if you're looking for a mission experience, or you're seeking that mission high if you're a return missionary, can be a great place to find a lot of fulfillment. There is very little more rewarding experiences out there than knowing that you have helped save a life, which is very similar to the experience of knowing that you have helped someone to come into Jesus Christ and find new life in Him. Both are noble causes and both contribute to God's plan. So I'm honored to hopefully encourage you to move forward if you feel called to do that. If not, that's okay. There are different roles for you, and we've talked about that on other episodes, or we will if they haven't come out yet. Stay tuned, follow along, we'll help you get plugged in with this and all sorts of other great ways to serve and act and live the gospel of Jesus Christ in a way that works for you in your life. My friend, it has been a real pleasure to chat. Now it's time to go and do. You've got this because God's got you. This has been SPAC Chats, your practical guide to survive and thrive through the latter days. Here we find answers to your real-life questions by applying the gospel of Jesus Christ to build an amazing life with no regrets. If you've enjoyed this episode, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss a future episode. And if you want to support the show, one of the easiest free ways to do that is to leave a 5-star review and share why you love the show. I'm Jessica Spackman. Until next time on SPAC Chats. Coming up on the next episode. Is it worth continuing to go to Young Woman even if it seems like nobody knows or cares about me? Is it okay if I go on a mission as soon as I turn 18? And how do I tell my not girlfriend I can't date her? Today we're going to talk about all these sticky situations and more in this special Q&A episode of SPAC Chats.